my people, open your eyes and answer the call of the drum. Frelimo, Frelimo, Samora Machel, Samora Machel.
You see, I find myself in this very, very foreign territory. Normally, I get excited when I'm invited to come and do this. Today is different. Today is not the same. I feel like you've been chasing me, all of you. And until I got into this wall where I could not go beyond. And then I look back to say, can we talk? What did I do? And I discovered that this was a friendly force. You were not chasing me. In fact, you were running with me, chasing something. Thank you to my wife, Spooky. I'm very happy that she's here today, because every time I go home and tell her why I'm coming this time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, at times 10 o'clock, I know she never doubted that, but right now I'm sure she can see and she can hear from the love I'm getting from the house. I promise I'm not going to cry because my daughter is here. Thank you, my baby, Karabo. Before I do that, let me extend words of gratification and gratitude to the people that came here and tell the truth. By the way, all what they were saying here was the truth. I'm that good, with the exception of what Elmon said and what Tatekito said, that implied some act of misconduct from my side. I never did that. Maybe I was acting. I acted extremely well for them to believe I did what they thought I did. Thank you to my comrades within us in this room. I have my comrades that came to share this moment with us. Comrades that we've been in some of these bushes that we spoke about, bushes of Angola, Tanzania, Uganda. Comrades that were in the same trenches with me all these years in the MK and the African National Congress. These comrades are sitting back there. Thank you, comrades, for being here. You see, from time to time, I want to turn back the clock and revisit the days where we trusted one another, because you see, with these comrades, we will stay together and sleep together and eat together, making turns in cooking. At no point in time we suspected one of us would put something in our food. At no point we suspected, as you are sleeping in your bedroom and one or two of us is patrolling, taking turns in guarding, one of them with those AK-47 would be pointed and kill us in our sleep. We trusted one another literally with our lives. But I doubt if the same can be said today. We see comrades shooting and killing one another, and we are not sure what for and what is the personal benefit, because money cannot be enough to do what the comrades are doing. I'm sure some people will make sense or talk sense to the comrade to stop this carnage. Is not right. I've prepared this stuff, but I've decided I'm going to throw it down and talk from the heart. one of the things why I want to do that, I don't want to keep all of you here in the next coming 4 hours. I want to try and do this in less than 10 minutes. And I know it's extremely difficult, but I will try. To the management of the GCIS sitting here in front of us, I know it is to tell the truth when I say GCIS, all 527 of you, you are in better hands. These are the people that think every time. I know this because I've engaged them. They're thinking about you, about your future, about your welfare, about the love of the country. No doubt. Before I forget, I need just to indicate one thing. I know there's been talk, and because this talk is informed by the past history, that most of the time when people decide to migrate or leave the office, people begin to think maybe it was no longer nice or good or healthy for them in that office. I want everyone who is sitting here today to know, up until today, it is with pain that I have to leave this organization. All the leadership, with no exception, came to me and said, Lennox, please, can you consider? Can you reconsider? Because what informed this move is so practical reality. It's very, very practical reason that prompted this leave. I promise you, if I was ready to take a bullet for all of them, yeah, up until now, I will do the same tomorrow. I don't have to be here to do that, because I know what it means for them to steer this ship. At times, maneuvering very rough seas, it has been tough. It was a wonderful journey for me. 20 years, marked with all the colorful paintings that you can think about. At no single day that I felt, I think I'm misplaced, I think I'm at the wrong place. True and true, up until this morning, if I have to do it, I will do it again with the government communication, GCIS. Again, amongst us here, there are colleagues from community sector. I'm very happy that they were here, and the people who spoke before me had no clue that they were here. They are pretty sure by now what GCIS means when it is saying we are going to support the sector until they are ready to fly on their own. To us, it's not a theory. It's practical actions that we do every day. We really understand where they come from, where they are today, where they need to be tomorrow. We are not just loving them, we understand their significance, their historical importance, because after all, they were created by this government. I'm looking at my chief there, Andrew. You see, at some point in time, Andrew drafted this motivation for me. My wife looks at this motivation almost every day. He says to me, Jesus, Andrew loves you. I've never seen someone motivating like this for another person. Andrew motivated that I get something. Whether I got that or I did not is the matter for another day. Andrew, I want you to know they appreciate you, that house. it's not only you. I'm talking about the colleagues sitting beside you. They appreciate. You see, when you don't get what you want, it's not the absence of love or respect that you think should have been extended to you. At times you need to understand. That's why my wife fights with me every time. You understand too much. You understand too much. You are going to eat understanding. I appreciate you, Andrew. I appreciate you, my chief. I appreciate you, my chief. She always says, I'm not the chief, I'm a woman. You are my chief, Tess. I appreciate you so well. To my colleagues, Karabo and the unit, you see, Karabo, this was long coming, and I knew at some point I'm going. That's why most of the time, even if I was around, I will let you run the show. It was a test, Chief Karabo, and I think you passed the test. Remember, I'm the phone call away, Karabo. When you want this or that, I'm there. My Scott, Esty and Faith. You see, these colleagues and my comrades and my colleagues and my friends and everything, they started a culture at CSA. I know they're going to struggle because I'm not going to be there tomorrow. Every time when it's one's birthday, I'm sure to the irritation of some of the colleagues here, we will invade their space and do happy birthday songs like you've never seen. We even have a black belt now in singing happy birthday. Thanks to Faith and Esther. You see, these are small things that matter so much because some of us, just like our fathers and forefathers, we came here to work. Our families are way back home. And you need to know people appreciate and love you. I hope you continue with that. It means so much to the people who do not have people to sing happy birthday for. Like I was saying, you see, if I can start mentioning the name here, the people that touch me, and I want to believe I touch them in a positive way, we will be here for the 4 hours that I spoke about. So I stop crying. Stop crying. She was crying this morning. That's why I decided to stop going to the offices because people started crying on me. They wanted me to regret for doing what I'm doing. I feel your love, colleagues. I feel your love. Because what you have given me, I will tell you it's not the truth if you say you were faking. You see, it's a true love. Thank you very much. This is what GCIS embodies. You know, to me, this is not farewell, because farewell signals when one leaves a particular space in a particular time with the possibility of never engaging you again. To me, signals the second phase of what I'm planning to do in terms of my engagement with GCIS. I'm going to be seeing you, maybe next time I'll be wearing a suit. I'll be seeing you, maybe next time I'll be wearing a combat, you call it camouflage. I will be seeing you because there's so much to be done in our space. And if I don't, I would understand possibilities don't exist for us to meet, but I know I'll be seeing you. You see, out of GCIS, there's what is called Midtown Reunion Chat Group. You see that, if you don't know, is what is called brand ambassador. These are the people that takes care of GCIS communication needs when you least expect. These are the colleagues when we are busy here at Setimusetso, I called it right, Karabo? Setimusetso, yes. When we are busy in your meetings here at Setimusetso, these colleagues at their various corners, they are doing the same. And I've been saying to them, maybe it's high time that you formalize this relationship. Because I know those guys and GCIS, that is Setimusetso, share the common bond, the love of this organization. I'm tempted not to say today signals the day when I'm dropping my microphone and my transmitter. I'm tempted not to say what I wanted to say, but for the benefit of the few colleagues who might have missed what Tasnim said, what Elmon said, who else, what Gordon said, I will come with a very, very compressed version that led me into this space where I find myself. This journey started in 1983. I know it sounds, ooh, it means we're going to be here until tomorrow. I promise you. Compressed version. This journey starts 1983 after one has completed their military basic training in Angola. Tamintenteni comes to our camp. This is where various departments of the African National Congress, remember I'm living, I can say these things. You cannot. When the African National Congress alliance partners will come to the camps to recruit people to reinforce their various departments. People will come to recruit for DIP, people will come to recruit for SACTU, people will come to recruit for a security detail of the leadership. People will come to recruit for the people to come and set up the DLBs in the country. People will come and recruit for, because that is where the tried and tested cadres of the African National Congress were cooked. There lies the people who could go through the eye of the needle. People who were tried and tested. People who were ready to take the bullet that was meant for Bushi because they felt Bushi did not see, at least I saw it coming. Let it be me, not Bushi. You see, we're talking those people. Now City comes there looking for the people to reinforce. Now I know DIP. He interviews me, we engage, we talk politics, he leaves. Later, you know, there's a song we used to sing there. That song basically meant, come and take us so that we can go home and deal with these guys toe to toe. We were trained, we were ready, we knew how to handle this. So that song meant that. So when there were these trucks coming into the camps to pick on people whose turn had come to come inside the country, we used to call that China. Remember, I'm living today, I can say these things, you can't. Now, City comes, and then I find myself into this truck going to be daunted by this China, to shake up some of the people here in South Africa. I landed in Lusaka. Chris asked me, where are you going? Did you chief touch? Meaning you answer EDLB, meaning that I was taking the arms across the border. I was going to train the people. I was going to arm them. They were going to do the damage, but controlled damage. Now, I sit there. I see everybody leaving me. What is going on? City comes. Hey, I'm coming to take you. Now I think my turn has come. We are going to a place called Makeni. That was the heartbeat of the government communications. Something similar to GCIS. It was the heartbeat, I'm going to say, of propaganda, risking the fact that you would understand what I mean. Basically propagating the content on behalf of the African National Congress. I stayed there. The next thing, I see this equipment, People are giving me the radio, people are giving me the pen, microphones. What is going on here? No, we spoke, Mos. You are going to join us. Did you know? No, don't play with me. I'm not. Me, radio, journalist, going home. Okay, obviously, they had an art of persuading people. I ended up staying there. I came into contact with Golden, very sweet guy. We worked together. The rest is history. Fast forward many years. I come home and I come into contact with Golden. We did what he was saying here. And then in that process, we are assisting to set up the community radio sector in the country. You know, you have so many people for some reason who would like to believe the coming into being of the sector is something that happened in vacuum. You saw, this thing started way back. You are going to be scared. This thing started 1963. Tess knows. It started 1963 when our leaders, Ntate Sisulu, Ahmad Karada, Goldberg, Dennis Goldberg, after the banning of the African National Congress, after the banning of that organization, there was almost a political lull. The leadership said, no, it cannot be correct. Let us do something to demonstrate to the people of South Africa that their organization is still alive. They came with a way of putting together a transmitter. They broadcasted in 1973, 15 minutes of messages that was entitled An Eye for an Eye. You see, I'm telling you, that broadcast in 1963, colleagues, echoed throughout the country, and people started talking about South Africa. The rest is history, because we saw that place, Rivonia, Lilisley's farm, being raided after that broadcast. And those guys were sentenced to life. And I remember when I read this judge who tried them said, you, Lord, your names will soon be forgotten in South Africa. You were taking big chances. And guess what? The history proved the opposite. The names of Obotatu Sisulu, Madiba, and the rest grew each and every day. They were in Robben Island and all these prisons. Fast forward, 6 years later, in Radio Freedom, the baton was taken from these gallant fighters and the leaders. We saw Tata Julius Nyerere Mzee in Tanzania giving the African National Congress, as represented by O.R. Tambo, transmitters to broadcast from Tanzania, 1969. Once again, the people of South Africa started hearing all these messages of hope. It was the beginning of this new ways of engaging the enemy. Few years later, we see KK in Zambia saying, you cannot beat me, Nyerere. I'm going to give these people, in fact, 1 hour each day. Gave us 15 minutes, gave us an hour. In fact, that's where I ended up working. I'm very sorry if I've touched you the wrong way at the time I was broadcasting there. But I can assure you we meant well. The fact that you are here, it reflects the benefits or the spin-offs of those broadcasts. You see, this place where we are sitting now, no black person was allowed even to make tea for the people that were working there. It was the citadel of the apartheid machinery, this office. Admittedly, at the time, it was not called GCIS. They tried mightily to change or to transform it into becoming SACS, but before that, it was the Bureau of Information, meaning that the boss, if you've been following the politics of United States, you might associate this place at the time with nasty things, nasty things with to the lowest or highest decimal point. These people were nasty. But GCIS today is the total opposite of that. Thanks to some of those guys who are sitting there, they were ready to lose their last breath to make sure that we have you sitting here, having an opportunity to transform this country. It went on and on until the last country that gave us broadcasting facilities in 1981, Ethiopia. You can imagine by then, we started having all these detachments. It was heavy. It was heavy. People were fighting. People were saying, we are not ready to be governed in the same old way. And radio freedom was central to that struggle. At some point, radio freedom had to be switched off in 1991 in Holland in a conference called Jabulani. Tamintenteni again went there to switch off the transmitters because the possibility existed then to come back in South Africa, not to take off or to take over SABC, but to be part of the communication discourse and the radio discourse in South Africa. We said, but we don't think we're ready because the fourth estate has its agenda. The mainstream media has its agenda. What do? Somewhere people conceptualize the concept of the community radio, that let's transform the airwaves. Let's have people who will take over from where the mainstream is unable to give us the hearing. Because we notice that, including what is called the national broadcaster, they could not take care of our communication needs as the country, as the government, and as everything. They were falling short every time in a two. Thanks to the community radio station, this is the sector we are able to say, okay, for the next coming hour, in a very undiluted way, we are taking over the airwaves. We are literally pushing there our content from the beginning of the section to the last. You can imagine what that does. Mainstream, no ways, even if you are going to give them 10 million for 2 seconds, there's no way they are going to give them their editorial freedom. They want to know what we are going to say. No, it is not in line with our editorial content. Community radio stations, because they were born of the people, because they were born by this government. As I'm talking to you right now, the president of the country is preparing to be a guest in Power FM, about to engage in what we want to call the second State of the Nation address. I'm saying that because it's not an interview, it's a conversation. He's given the platform to say all what he thinks South Africa needs without disruptions of questions, interjections. Community radio stations are giving us an hour for free because we suggested as a radio unit, this content should find expression beyond Power FM listeners, which is Gauteng based. Right now, across the country, people of South Africa will be listening to the president for free. Ipasela that I'm giving GCIS, I managed to negotiate that with those guys. And tomorrow we're burying our king, King Sikau. And again, we are saying a king must be like other kings. People need to know what is happening. Again, we negotiated with the stations to say, "Aye, man, you know, this was not funded, my chief. Can you please give us?" They gave us. I'm happy as I'm bowing out from GCIS. Something this big is taking place. Thank you, colleagues. All 527 of you, thank you. At least it's better for you. We are only going to be missing one person. I'm going to be missing all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Just now when Lennox thought I was telling him to wind up, as I often do, I was actually saying, you can't say, "Do you remember Bushi?" I know we are old, but you can't say, you can't refer to Ravonia to 1963 and say, "Do you remember?" The guy was 2 years old. He doesn't remember. I don't either. I actually don't remember where I met Lennox for the first time. I really don't. But it was sometime in the 80s. It might have been at the Arusha conference in Tanzania. I know he was covering that conference. It might have been the first time, I'm not sure. But I did bump into him a couple of times. But I'm not here to talk about what and where I know Lennox from. It has been quite a long time. He did find me here when he came to GCIS for the first time. So I'm part of the furniture also. But mine is just to say thank you to everybody. Firstly, thank you to all GCIS employers, all 427, I beg your pardon, all 426, and Lennox, of them that attended this function. Thank you to Kitu for speaking, for giving us all the history. Thank you to Tasnim, to Almond, for sharing those moments. They gave Lennox, it used to be the golden watch, but you know, there's budget cuts in government. So whatever watch it is, they gave it to you. But we also have something for you from the CSA. Some others wanted to contribute as well, but by that time we'd already been to the shop. So we had already bought it.
I will take the money.
So thank you very much, Lennox. Thank you for your speech. I'm not going to miss you. I'm going to see you. Okay? Right, thank you.